But too, there's guys like Oba out there now, and who may be one of the guys that I think may be the biggest star, may be Trick Williams. I love Trick, and so all those guys I would have loved to have worked with.
What do you think it is about Trick?
And he's just got that thing, right? He's got that swagger, and I've talked to him a few times, and like he's just a little bit more of a mean streak away from being a real big player, I think.
Speaking of
Undertaker has broken his silence and dropped a huge bombshell on Oba Femi about Trick Williams. In the Deadman's eyes, Trick Williams could be a serious threat to Oba Femi's rise in WWE. Oba may be the bigger powerhouse and a future top player, but Undertaker believes Trick has something even more valuable: star power, swagger, and the potential to become an even better wrestler. While Oba Femi is undoubtedly talented, Taker's praise for Trick Williams puts him in a completely different league, and if Trick adds the mean streak Undertaker says he needs, WWE could have its next biggest superstar. So what exactly did The Undertaker say? Why is it turning heads across the wrestling world? And what does it mean for the future of NXT's brightest prospects? Let's break it all down. Right now, WWE's main event scene is still being carried by legends: Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, Randy Orton. These are the names holding up the top of the card, and every single one of them is in their 40s. They're still drawing crowds, still selling out arenas, still main eventing premium live events, but everybody in wrestling knows this can't go on forever. Father Time is undefeated. Eventually this generation is going to step aside, and when that happens, WWE is going to need new faces ready to carry the company. That's where X comes in. It's the pipeline. It's where the next wave of stars is being built right now, and a lot of eyes are on who's going to be the one to break through when that torch finally gets passed. And when it comes to spotting future stars, there might not be a better set of eyes in the business than The Undertaker's. The Undertaker spent decades never breaking character. He lived the gimmick, in and out of the ring, refusing to let fans see behind the curtain. But since retiring, all of that has changed. Mark Calloway, the man behind the makeup, is suddenly everywhere doing interviews, running his own podcast, and sharing stories from a career most fans thought they'd never get to hear about firsthand. And in a recent appearance on Chris Van Vliet's show, Taker was asked a simple question: if he could still wrestle today, who would he want to get in the ring with? The first name out of his mouth was Gunther. Taker praised Gunther's patience in the ring, the way he builds a match toward a big moment instead of rushing through it. But then he kept going, and that's when things got interesting. Taker didn't stop at Gunther. He brought up Oba Femi as another guy on his radar, but then he said something that nobody expected. He named Trick Williams as the man he believes could become the biggest star of them all. Not one of the biggest, the biggest. Coming from someone who has seen every kind of talent walk through WWE's doors for over 3 decades, that's about as strong an endorsement as you can get. Taker made it clear he loves Trick's swagger, his charisma, the way he carries himself. According to The Undertaker, the only thing standing between Trick Williams and superstardom is developing a real mean streak and edge that turns a good performer into a killer in the ring. Think about what that means coming from Taker specifically. This is a man who built one of the most terrifying characters in wrestling history, someone whose entire aura was built on intensity and menace. When he says a guy needs a mean streak, he's speaking from experience about what separates a beloved babyface from a true main event killer. He's not saying Trick lacks talent, he's saying Trick hasn't unlocked the final gear that turns charisma into dominance, the difference between being over with the crowd and being feared by opponents. Let's be clear about something: this isn't Undertaker disrespecting Oba Femi. Oba is still widely regarded as a future face of WWE. He's a powerhouse, a physical specimen, and someone many insiders believe is being groomed for the very top of the card. But what Taker is pointing out is that star power isn't just about size or dominance, it's about connection with the crowd. It's about the it factor that makes people want to watch you even when you're not doing anything spectacular. And in Taker's eyes, that's where Trick Williams separates himself. Oba might be the bigger, more dominant in ring force, but Trick may have the one thing that can't always be taught: genuine star quality. If Trick Williams can add that missing mean streak Taker talked about, it could be the final piece that turns him from a fan favorite and into WWE's next true main event superstar. This praise doesn't come out of nowhere either. The Undertaker and Trick Williams already have real history together. Then, back in July 2025, while Trick was still primarily an ex-star making occasional main roster appearances, he sat down for an interview segment on Raw filmed during a commercial break. The clip ended up going viral on YouTube. In it, Williams, playing the cocky heel version of himself as TNO World Champion, went face-to-face with a legend and didn't back down one bit. He talked trash, called out Taker's age, and dared him to show up on Next the very next night. And Taker did exactly that. The following night on Next, The Undertaker walked out, delivered a chilling promo, and put Trick Williams in his place with a thunderous chokeslam. But here's the thing: it wasn't a burial. It wasn't meant to embarrass Trick. Out of every rising star on the roster, Taker chose Trick Williams to share that moment with. That alone speaks volumes about how highly he thinks of him. So where does this leave things? WWE has no shortage of hype around its next generation, but hearing The Undertaker single out Trick Williams as a potential biggest star ahead of even Oba Femi adds serious fuel to the fire. It puts pressure on WWE creative to keep building Trick Williams as more than just a charismatic personality. It also raises the stakes for Oba Femi to keep proving that his in-ring dominance can translate into that same kind of undeniable star power. Either way, both men are being talked about as future centerpieces of this company. And when a legend like The Undertaker starts throwing around words like biggest star, people notice. It's also worth remembering that Taker isn't just an outside observer throwing out a name for headlines. He's currently running the creative direction over at AA, actively shaping talent and storylines on a daily basis. His read on who has it isn't coming from nostalgia, it's coming from someone still hands-on in the business of building stars right now, which gives his comments a lot more weight. So there you have it, The Undertaker himself pointing to Trick Williams as the one who could become WWE's next biggest star, with Oba Femi right there in the conversation too. Whether Trick can add that final mean streak Taker talked about remains to be seen. But one thing is for sure, the eyes of the wrestling world are now locked onto both of these future stars. What do you think? Does Trick Williams have what it takes to become WWE's biggest star, or is Oba Femi still the one to watch? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, smash that like button, and subscribe for more wrestling news breakdowns just like this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
Tomorrow, I mean, I'm sure there'll be 75 million views for Brock Lesnar's return, and they'll show all these podcasters. Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Dave Meltzer has finally broken his silence with a huge announcement about the long-awaited dream match between Brock Lesnar and Gunther. According to Meltzer, this blockbuster showdown is still possible if the Beast ever decides to make his return to WWE, and if Brock Lesnar comes back, a match against Gunther could be one of the biggest and most must-see battles WWE could possibly make. After years of anticipation, could we finally see Brock Lesnar step into the ring with the ring general? The dream match may not be dead just yet.
I always saw Brock kind of like as my final boss. Like I always get portrayed as that, like in whatever, like as the NXT UK champion, as the Intercontinental champion. I was like the final boss of that division, and Brock for a long time was the final boss or the end boss of the whole company. So I always saw myself in my future to be in a similar position as he is, and to be that, you gotta get in the ring with that guy. We'll see if there's a chance for it to happen again. I'm more than up for it. I think it's the biggest possible challenge for me. But how the situation is exactly right now, I'm really not that informed about it, to be honest.
Brock Lesnar may have just walked away from WWE at SummerSlam, but according to a brand new report, the door to one of the most tantalizing matches in modern wrestling history has not been slammed shut. We're talking about Brock Lesnar versus Gunther, a collision that has been teased, planned, scrapped, and revived more times than fans even realize. Today, we're breaking down everything we know about why this match never happened, how close it actually came to reality, and why Dave Meltzer believes it could still be on the table. Let's get into it. Let's set the scene. At SummerSlam, Brock Lesnar's rivalry with rising angst juggernaut Oba Femi reached its climax in the deciding match of their trilogy. Femi walked out victorious, and in the aftermath, Lesnar delivered a moment that felt like a symbolic passing of the torch. He referred to Femi as the future, while placing himself firmly in the past. It was a rare moment of vulnerability and respect from the Beast incarnate, and many fans immediately assumed this was it, the final curtain call for one of the most dominant forces in WWE history. But if you've followed professional wrestling for any length of time, you already know the golden rule. Retirement announcements in this business are rarely permanent, and according to insider reporting, there's at least one match still sitting on the shelf that could bring Brock Lesnar back through that curtain one more time. That match is Brock Lesnar versus Gunther, and according to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, this isn't just a fantasy pairing dreamed up by fans on social media. WWE itself has tried to make this happen not once, but twice, both times with WrestleMania in mind. The seeds were planted back at the 2023 Men's Royal Rumble, when Lesnar and Gunther shared a face-to-face stare-down that sent the wrestling world into a frenzy. The chemistry, the size, the sheer star power of two of WWE's most dominant presences standing across from each other, it was the kind of moment that practically begs to be turned into a program, and apparently, WWE agreed. The first attempt to build toward a Lesnar-Gunther collision reportedly never advanced far enough for the storyline to go public. Whatever internal plans were being discussed, they fell apart before fans ever got a real glimpse of what was coming. But WWE didn't give up. A second opportunity emerged ahead of WrestleMania 2024. This time, the plan was reportedly for Lesnar to begin a full program with Gunther following following the Royal Rumble, setting the stage for a showdown at wrestling's biggest stage of the year. So what happened? Why didn't we get Brock Lesnar and Gunther at WrestleMania 40? The answer, unfortunately, has nothing to do with wrestling. Those plans collapsed after Lesnar was implicated in Janelle Grant's lawsuit in early 2024, a legal situation that effectively pulled him from WWE programming entirely. Almost overnight, one of the company's most bankable attractions became untouchable, and any storyline involving him had to be scrapped immediately. With Lesnar out of the picture, Gunther pivoted. He continued his historic Intercontinental Championship reign all the way into WrestleMania, where he defended the title against Sami Zayn instead of squaring off with the Beast. Still a great match, but for fans who had been waiting since that 2023 Rumble staredown, it wasn't the fight they truly wanted. Fast forward to now, and Brock Lesnar has officially stepped away from in-ring competition. But according to Dave Meltzer, the Gunther match hasn't disappeared from the conversation, it's simply on pause. Meltzer wrote, and we're paraphrasing here to stay accurate to his reporting, that the Lesnar-Gunther pairing was on the table for years, including on 2 separate WrestleMania occasions, and that it remains a viable option if WWE and Lesnar ever decide to write another chapter.